Hey everyone, it's Ulysses. Welcome back to the show. Here we have Silvia Ramos. I actually first found out about her because I was looking to get my taxes amended. And when I went into her office in Sunnyside, she really helped me out. And today we're going to talk all about her. So thank you so much for being on the show.
I'm super excited. Hello everybody. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help more than anything and give options. And we'll talk a little bit about what I can offer, what Silvias Professional Tax Services does, and where it all started, because I firmly believe everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And we have to share that story to have that connection.
I agree. And you have a pretty good upbringing. Like you were telling me about that like when we were in your office. Most people probably don't know that, but if you could explain it, how did you first start and why?
Well, I come actually from a migrant family. I worked up in the fields. Here in the valley, there's asparagus, cherry, apple, and I actually started in the fields working, and I always used to say, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. I stopped working in the fields when I was 19 years old, but I had a goal. I had a goal that if I can only, go to school, get educated, and be somebody, I didn't know what I was going to be when. I just didn't want the fields. I didn't want that. And so I had the opportunity, different jobs gave me the opportunity to explore what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
I moved to Seattle where, being bilingual helped me a lot. I started working for an unemployment firm, helping people find jobs, and I really found myself helping people. Then I entered into a new career of selling houses. So I'm also a realtor. I'm a licensed realtor here in Washington State. And I also had the opportunity to work for H&R Block years ago. We're talking back in 2000. And so I was able to cater to both the real estate, because the real estate business is about April through about the end of November, which it has its peaks. And then the tax season, which is January up until through April.
Yeah.
So it just kind of worked out, and I ended up doing that full time. And I always used to say when I worked at H&R Block, if I can only own my own business whenever I grow up, I want to be able to teach my clients, how to get the best refund, how to take advantage of all the tax write-off credits for my business owners, and also what are the different options for them to understand about taxes. I want to be the educator at the same time that I'm doing their taxes.
Yeah, because so many people don't know anything about taxes, like me included. Like, we have to find people that are experts in that because one, it saves a lot of time and it saves you money. And if you do it wrong, you can get in trouble.
Yes.
Right? So, now you have like your own building, which by the way is beautiful in Sunnyside. And how did that come to be? Because you were, a realtor and then you started doing taxes, but how did you end up owning your own business? Like you mentioned, that's what you wanted to do. How did that start?
Well, I came back to the Valley. When the economy in 2008, it came down, I had to reinvent myself.
Okay.
Coming back to, because I was born and raised here in the Valley, and I had to reinvent myself. And when I came here with all the experience and knowledge that I had to the Valley, nobody wanted to hire me to what I was worth.
Got it.
And the people that wanted to hire me, the companies, their HRs were even intimidated to hire me because I had a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I was just looking for a job, but because nobody hired me, I needed to feed my kids. I had bills to pay, And so I remember sitting down at my house, drawing of what does Silvia want to be? It's almost like I had to interview myself. I had to write down goals. I said, if this isn't working, okay, what am I going to do? I could either have two choices. I can say, poor me, I'm just going to kind of go back to the fields, go back to the warehouses, or I'm going to reinvent myself to what is Silvia capable of doing? So I ended up having no choice. I drew out my having a receptionist, doing taxes, having a real estate office here. I drew it out, and as I was drawing it, I was imagining it in my mind.
Yeah.
So I showed it to my mom. She kind of laughed. She goes, "And where's that going to be at?" And I looked at her, at your store. So my mom used to own this little building there on Lincoln. Half of it was her store. She used to sell religious items, and the other half was a storage place.
Yeah.
And so I said, in that storage place, we're going to put 2 windows and a door, and that's going to be my office. And I'm going to do real estate in Texas out of that. And she kind of laughed. And I said, you're not taking me serious. She goes, well, do you believe in yourself? And I said, I do.
Good. Yeah.
And so she says, okay, then I believe in you. So we did. And I actually didn't have money to start. My mom did not charge me rent for a whole year, and I just paid the water, the light, and that was the agreement. But I told her then, I said, this is just gonna be temporary. It's not gonna be a forever. Eventually, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm gonna build that building.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of laughed again. She goes, okay, we have goals. And I said, yeah. And she goes, and they're big ones. And I said, yeah. And so I firmly believe that if I can do a really good job with that one first client that came in to do their taxes, and they can just tell 5 other people, then that's how my business was gonna grow.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And that's why I still exist now. The building was built 8 years later, after I opened up. And I've been there at my new building for about 2 years now.
That's good. That's good. And talking about like if you can help out that one client and they can tell 5 others. I noticed that when I went in, like your customer experience is really, really good. And that's one of the reasons I think people, because they have a hard time with tax professionals, because they know how to do all the numbers and stuff like that, but they don't know how to like communicate or give you that that reassurance. And before we go into more of the tax stuff, do you think, because I was thinking about this right now, do you think that you got a lot of like your entrepreneurial stuff from your mom? Because like you mentioned, she had a store and she was doing that type of stuff, or where do you think that came from?
That actually came from, I come from a family of 12. My mom had 12. I'm second to the oldest. And in our family, because we were so poor, failure was not an option.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't fail. You had no choice. You couldn't be like, poor me, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You had to do it, and you had to be successful in what you did. That meant school, or even at, if we had to finish, asparagus, by time we hit school, by time 7 o'clock came, if we did not finish up our row, we were in trouble.
Yeah.
So we did what we had to do. So I think a lot of it came from my family's roots, how we were raised and how they were raised, because they were both immigrants from Mexico. And their same thing, to cross the border they were not going to fail. They were going to get here, no matter what it took. And they were going to raise their family and children here.
I like that. Cool. Now let's get into more of the tax stuff. So you've been doing this for 10 years then?
Well, I had my own business for about 10 years.
Yeah, 10
now.
years, right? And what do you find that people need the most help with? Like, it's taxes, but why do they come to you versus, other tax professionals?
Well, the IRS is a scary word to begin with, you know? And so I've catered to my clientele. The IRS is just collecting money.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that do the laws are Congress, and where does that happen with our senators, or who we vote for that represents us. So really the people make the laws in the sense of what is needed, because we ask for help to our senators, and they take it to Congress. Congress says, okay, today we have a new law and we're gonna send it to the IRS,
Yeah.
Well, after the White House approves it, it goes to the IRS. All they're doing is just collecting, and giving out credits. Kind of like right now, the stimulus, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I had to be very well educated and educate my staff to be able to explain, okay, who gets the stimulus? Where's my stimulus at? And, why don't I get it? So we had to become the educators to be able to educate. Same thing with the taxes. I had to understand the behind the scenes of how the IRS works, to know that they're just a collector,
Yeah.
But going to the tax form conferences with the IRS, I was able to sit with the IRS staff like we are today,
Right.
and understand their behind the scenes. And now that I understand who the IRS is, I'm not afraid of them, because they're really there to help you. They have options. They just follow the rules.
Yeah.
You can't break them. And if you just do what you're supposed to do, you'll never have a problem with the IRS.
Yeah.
So when I understood and I learned how the IRS worked, then I was able to transparent and provide that to my clients. Okay, these are our different options. They just want to know that you're going to pay them.
Right.
Let's do the payment options. What can you afford to pay? They're not going to leave you homeless. But the reality is that people get so scared, and they shut their mind, and they just don't want to pay, and they're like scared, and they think it's going to go away. Well, no. You're going to get a bill every month because it's a computerized,
Yeah.
And if you're not making that $100 payment, even if it's a month, even if it takes you 7 years to pay, it's not gonna go away.
Yeah. And I think, what you said has a lot of truth to it, because when I think of the IRS, I think of a big corporation that's out to get me.
Yeah.
But what you were saying is like, you can speak directly to them like how we are now,
Yes.
and they're just people.
They're just people.
And they have a job, and
Yeah.
their job is just to collect. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how. It's just as long as they do it. So,
Or if they owe you, they're gonna pay you every
Right.
credit. They'll even, and if a tax preparer forgot to give you a specific credit, they're gonna send you a letter and say, hey, you forgot this credit, you might qualify for it, fill out the application.
yeah.
Or take it back to your preparer and find out what credit he missed out or she missed out.
Yeah. No, that's definitely important, because I've had issues with it before in the past, just because I just had no idea.
Yeah.
Especially as a new business owner when I was first starting out, taxes was like the last thing on my mind, right?
But when you understand it, you're not afraid of it.
Right. Yep.
And so you just said it, it's, don't be afraid. If anything, the IRS is just people. They're just people trying to do their job.
And you're that bridge, because when I was in the Lower Valley, like, because I grew up in Grandview, so it's like 15 minutes away from Sunnyside. I didn't know about entrepreneurship or anything like that, and my family like also didn't grow up, fairly rich or anything like that. So I think like you're that bridge for people that have no idea, that have no clue whatsoever, and you help them educate, themselves and help them get onto the right path so they don't get in a bad standing with the IRS.
There are options. Just don't ignore it. Pay attention to it and find the help and the resource to the right people that are willing to help.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is, because unfortunately, there's a lot of accountants that are too busy and they don't want to take the time to educate. But when I opened up, I said, I will always cater to my clients' needs. And I'm always going to be not only the professional, but the educator.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach my staff. You're the educator, because if we can educate our clients when they come in to do their taxes, every year it's just going to get easier. And they're going to get excited. And they're not going to be afraid.
So does that make you different then than other, like?
Absolutely.
Is that you kind of provide that power to your
Yes.
client?
Yes.
And how does that work? Like, for example, let's say somebody came in and you're like, okay, I need to do my taxes. Like, how does working with you, that process look like?
So I review their taxes. I said, this is what you made all year long. Your filing status gives you the standard deduction of XYZ. Then you have children, you qualify for the earning and credit, which is this amount. You also did not make enough and you are under the guidelines to be able to qualify for the earned income credit. You receive X amount, and your federal withheld was this, and so therefore in return the IRS is going to give you this.
Yeah.
Now, if you owe, it's the same thing. Well, next time, we're going to get more federal withheld so that you're not having to pay, because depending on how much you make and if you're married filing single, if you're head of household, if you're just single, no dependents, well, your rate of paying back your tax liability is going to be a little higher because you don't have children, you don't have the spouse that's going to give you the double deduction for your standard deductions. But we can, to avoid to pay the IRS at the end of the year, get more withheld in your paycheck every week. Because it's best to always, get extra withheld for your federal all year long versus to pay it all at once. And if you don't have that money at the end of the year when you're ready to file your taxes, you're going to pay with the penalty and interest. So guess what? Take an extra in your federal withheld, $50 every paycheck, $100 every paycheck. Your tax preparer should be able to tell you what you need to plan for next year. And if you're getting raises, you better be putting more in your federal withheld.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is just fill out a W-4 to be able to put on there how much extra withholding you want to do.
Okay, cool. And that's local. And I know we were speaking before the cameras. You said that you're also like expanding outside of just like the Lower Valley.
Yeah.
How's that looking like? How are people finding you and stuff?
Thank God for technology, really social media. It really has helped me. I mean, especially with the pandemic. The pandemic has really helped us know and understand that you don't need to go to a physical location.
Yeah.
You can utilize the technology to your favor. So people send us via text, via email, and of course all of our documentation is secured. It goes to a cloud. And with working for the IRS, you need to have everything secured because there's hackers out there. So not only in our office do we have the alarm systems, the camera systems, but we are also a paperless company. We don't have anything of our clients. Everything goes to a cloud because you never want anything there at the office. So with the being virtual, Zoom, and the technology, just to our favor, you can do taxes from everywhere, from anywhere you want in the world. And in fact. And for the last 2 years, even before the pandemic, I've been doing taxes for people that retire in Mexico. They send me their documentation. The H-2H workers that come from Mexico, they still have to file taxes. They send them to Silvia.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'm becoming the international tax. Everybody knows me by the tax lady. Go see the tax lady.
Yep.
But the technology, I have definitely used it to my favor.
And that reminds me, because you're mentioning tax lady. I go to town and I see you on like the bench at Fiesta Foods. Like
there's a tax lady.
Yeah. Like, and don't you have like a billboard too or something like that?
Yeah, right outside of Grandview, between Grandview and Sunny.
Yeah, like I'm like driving around and I see her, I'm like, oh, I know her. Like, that's good. Does that work? Does that end up like bringing people?
It's a top of mind awareness. I'm a firm believer on public relations because you must be known. You must be in marketing. As a business owner, 30% of the income that comes to my office goes to marketing. If you're not marketing, if you're not spending the dollars on marketing, you're not going to ever be known. You need to spend a good 30% of my income goes back to marketing. Actually, last year was 40% for me.
Wow.
But I firmly believe in the marketing. You have to be on public relations everywhere. You have to be everywhere you can think of. And it does cost, but the revenue in return is there. And that's what Silvia's Professional Tax Services has done. Invest into marketing everywhere and in return, because it's a top of mind awareness.
No, that's true. That's true, because you're the first person I thought of when we were doing the show. I'm like, okay, taxes, you. And that's so true.
Tax lady.
Because even in our business, like our main thing is attention awareness, because like you mentioned, on top of mind, like when people start thinking about that, you want them to think of you because you're gonna be the first person they call, email, like work with. And
I gotta go see her.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what separates you, because I've spoken to different tax people as well, is like the experience is just different.
Yeah.
Like you can speak to a lot of different people, but the experience I feel when I walk into your office and you're very jolly and you're more than happy to like help and assist. I think serves a long way, and I'm pretty sure your clients are like super happy.
Yes, and I know where they come from. A lot of them.
Right.
I know that especially if they're business owners, because we do a lot of not only taxes, but if you want to open up a business, they come to Silvia's Professional Tax Services, and we walk them through step by step how to open up. Where do you need to start? We give them that little education first before they actually ready to spend their dollars with us. And find them the right entity, if it's going to be an S corporation, an LLC, or solo proprietor. What's it going to cost? What's the end result going to look for or look like? And this is where you need to start. And so I've been very, very blessed to say that because of my story, how I started, I share that to other business owners that if I can, you can too.
Yeah.
It's just we become a team. I'll help you open up your business. I will then do payroll for you. I will then take all of your accounting for you, and we're a team. You're the experts at cooking and getting that restaurant, to where it needs to be, and I'm right behind you with the documentation, keeping you in compliance and being there for you. And so when I put it that way, I'm ready to open up my business. It's not scary anymore.
Cool. Now that you're mentioning that, like, what are your goals? Because you have a building, you're doing great. Like, I see you everywhere. What's in it for you now? Like, what are you working towards?
Well, I want to be that educator. Eventually, I want to be that mentor.
Yeah.
Where I can mentor other tax office, I can mentor other real estate offices, where I can be the mentor not only for my kids, my family, because at the end of the day, I'm still a mom.
Yeah.
I have 5 children, and I want to be more of I've been successful. I've told my story. Now I want to share that to others to become entrepreneurs as well, because I consider myself as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I agree, and I think for you, like being a mom and being an entrepreneur, I don't think too many females like go into, that? How is it like for you?
Well, when I'm at work, I'm at work. I'm at 100% at work. When I'm at home, I'm 90% at home. And I say 90% because you can't always, being a business owner, you can't always disconnect, But when I'm at work, I'm at work. And when I'm at home, I'm at home. I'm doing tortillas. I'm listening to my girls, whatever they got going on, I'm putting everybody to cook because I do go home to cook.
Yeah.
We're planning out our vacations. We're talking, how was your day? We're having our meals in our tables, because when you have your meals in your tables, that's opportunity to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't like cell phones on my table because this is a time where I like to enjoy my food, and I want to hear what my kids got to say. How was your day?
Yeah.
And if there's anything that we ask, as soon as I get there or my kids get there, how was your day?
That's good.
And so that's my time to be the mom. That's my time to do the laundry. That's my time to cook. That's my time to plan our vacations. That's my time for them.
For people that want to work with you, where can they find you? What's the best form of contact? And how can they work with you and your team?
Well, I do have a website. It's silviataxes.com, www.silviataxes.com. I do have a Facebook, Instagram. I'm trying to get better at the other social medias because, I'm busy for that, but I do hire the staff to be able to run it.
Yeah.
But you can find us also at 1015 East Lincoln Avenue, Sunnyside, Washington, and here in 9944. But I think I'm a big Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. For the most part, you can find me there.
Cool. If there was one thing that you'd want, the audience to know about you or your business, what would that be?
Always be yourself. I myself. If anybody wants to be successful, don't pretend to be anybody else. Be yourself.
Yeah.
And tell your story. And nothing comes easy. Nothing was easy for me. It comes with long hours, sacrifice. It comes with never giving up. I love, if you see a butterfly, what do you think of?
Beauty.
Well, I think of Silvia. I have catered my little logo. If you see, there's a little butterfly. And I want my clients, when they see a butterfly, to think of me. And I'll tell you what, behind the scenes of the butterfly, to me, it's like when the cocoon thought it could never fly. It became a butterfly.
That's powerful.
Very powerful. And that's the meaning behind my butterfly. It's part of everything I do, my logo, my intro, everything. And that's the best way to describe Silvia's life.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.